Alrighty, people. We are here. We are live right on time, like always.
Yeah.
Without a doubt, you can count on us to be live exactly when it says we're going live. You know we'll be there. Appreciate y'all for being here with us. Thanks for joining the stream. We've got Daniel Macy, our resident countdown expert, in the building. All right. He says 43 days until the NFL draft. You love to see it. 43 days until the NFL draft. I cannot wait. What's up, Dylan? Casanova, Brett's in the building, Chuck and Copeland and Jordan and Benjamin and Liam and Sauce. Raw Sauce. What's up, Albert? In the building. He says, what's up, fellas? We got Victor. We got Vince. We got Simon. We got Chuckman. We got Joel. All right. The squad is assembling. Benjamin is in the building. Case is in the building. Ryan Chauncey is here. Blue's in the building. Sparrow's here. Kyle's here. Josh is here. JB, honestly. Spencer, Whaler, Cade, Eugene. What's up, people? Welcome in, welcome in. We actually have a couple super chats to start today's stream. I can't see Brett's question here. He dropped the super chat to start the stream, but I can't even see the question. Can you?
I think he dropped a super chat and then it was underneath it.
Is it?
And then he dropped another one. Trade Barkley and Laporta or Pollard, I think.
Okay,
I think
Barkley
that's question
and
number
Laporta
one.
for Pollard, the 108, 110, 111, and a 2026 first-round pick, or keep them. I have Gibbs, Benson, Benson, Quorum, J-Mo, Dunze. All right, chat, what do we think? You can either have Saquon Barkley and Sam Laporta, or Tony Pollard, the 108, the 110, the 111, the 201, and a 2026 first-round pick. That is a decent haul. Majority late picks in the first round
picks.
It's 3 guaranteed first round picks. It's 4 guaranteed first round picks, including 2026, as well as a 201. Right. What do we think there, guys? I think that's pretty close to even for both sides, personally. If you're wanting to rebuild, I'll take the picks. If you're wanting to compete, I'll probably keep Saquon.
Yeah, I think it just depends on the context of the team. You know, if like Zach said, if you are rebuilding, maybe go for the picks. Obviously, you could probably get 102, 103 for Saquon, but you're getting 4 first-round picks for Saquon Barkley and Sam Laporta. Obviously late-round picks, but it's a tough one, I would say. They're really depending on context there.
Yeah. I think in a rebuild, I'll take the picks and I'll feel good about it. Go ahead.
Yeah. He also dropped another super chat. Appreciate you, Bray. Says, just won the ship in Dynasty. I have 0.25 first and second round picks. So I trade. Okay, this is the same one.
Okay, so it's another super chat, right? Okay, yeah, there you go.
So I'm going to trade frenzy.
Well, he just won the championship. He has no picks this year.
Or trade Barkley. Same thing.
Look, right, I think if you could do this deal and flip the 108 into like a Breece Hall or Josh Jacobs, like you can turn the 108 and the 201 into a Breece Hall, or the 110 into Josh Jacobs, you know, the 201 into Chuba Hubbard. I would be pretty interested in taking the picks.
Yeah, it just really depends on how you view it, but yes, 0.25 first and seconds. It looks like you might have your first and 26.
Clearly, the rest of your team is good, and you know, you can kind of retool around it and still get some future. Now, the only caveat here is if this is like a start 7 or start 8 one quarterback league, probably just keep Laporta and Saquon. You know, if it's like a really, really small starting lineup, you have 1 flex spot, you only have 2 flex spots, probably keep the top end players. But assuming it's like a start 9 or something, then let's go ahead and rock with the picks. But Aki, I was just on a call with you. Okay, we are on a very important call, and this man is sitting in a chair getting his hair cut. And I was told on that very important call, when you're sitting in the chair getting a haircut, that you were going to shave your head. You were going to get rid of your hair.
I said I was chopping it off. I wasn't.
You were chopping it off. So this is your version of chopping it off, right?
Yeah, my hair was triple the length of this size currently. So it's nowhere near. I can't put my hair in a bun anymore. Okay. I mean, I technically still can if I really, I'm squeezing it out. But I just had to get rid of it.
When you said chop it off, I assume that meant we're going real short. Nah, that's not chop it off. If I was to tell you I'm going to chop it off, I wouldn't have a big old, a huge amount of hair still.
I mean, I from the jump already had a lot of hair, so I was chopping off a significant amount.
Okay.
I don't know lengthwise, but like my hair was like down here.
Yeah.
That's a lot. That's a chop.
I'm gonna ask the chat. What do we think? Does this qualify as a big old chop off? Because to me, it's like I trimmed my hair. That's what it feels like. Looks good.
This is a trim of hair,
brother. Your hair didn't look all that different beforehand, did it? I know it was longer, but you had it in the bun. Is it a chop?
I mean, brother, it's
he chopped it. All right, he chopped it. All right, look, the people are saying you chopped it.
Significant amount of hair.
It's a chop
that came off.
I think we're all in agreement here. Even me, it's a chop. Okay, we all agree this is clearly a chop. What percentage was cut off? That's the question, actually.
I would say this was over 70% that was chopped off. Genuinely, like if you would have to see my hair with that, I think that's what you're not understanding. You haven't seen my hair not in a bun in a very long time. Once again, my hair was like down here, and look from where my hand is to where it's at. Is that not? This is the length that I cut off. Is that not a chop, or is that just a small cut?
It's a chop. I think we all agreed. Well, I don't know why you're making such a big deal out of it. We all said it was a chop, and now you're like trying to like say like, guys, it's a chop. And we literally all said it was a chop already.
Everyone go back 2 minutes.
Appreciate you guys for being here with us. So many people active and alive in the chat. We're gonna have a lot of fun today. Be a friend. Go ahead and smash that like button to show some love. Easy way for you to help this channel grow. If we reach 125 likes, we'll do 2 mock drafts today. This is a 2-part stream. The first part is doing some Dynasty rookie drafts. The second part is reviewing some people's Dynasty teams. Okay, so that is the 2 parts to today's stream. I appreciate all of y'all being here. And Chris is saying it's not a chop, so I'm sorry, it's official. I was the one advocating as well. I was like, it is a chop, guys. It's a chop. It's clearly a chop.
It's only the only person that said it's not a chop.
I'm sorry. Chris has spoken. Clearly, Chris has spoken, and it is what it is. I'm sorry. I don't make the rules here. All right. So we do have a question here before we get into this mock draft on the Flock site. So SG3 did submit a trade question, and his question was, looking to add talent at running back and wide receiver, may consider Cam. They are thinking about sending away CJ Stroud for the 102 and the 108. I think that's probably more value than you could get for him in most leagues. It is a start 11, so even with it being a bigger lineup, I'd probably value like the running backs and wide receivers and tight ends more in a league like this, considering you do have to start so many flexes and wide receivers and running backs ideally. So I am very comfortable to take the package of the 102 and the 108, and you can use that 108 and go get Trevor Lawrence in a 2nd-round pick or something. Use that 108 and go get Jared Goff in a late 2nd or something. So I feel very comfortable accepting a package like this. I mean, that 108 range right now for those quarterbacks is very, very comfy.
Yeah, so he has CJ Stroud and he's getting rid of it. What's his team looking like? Because if CJ is just the QB2 with no other depth, so it looks like you have Michael Penix here, which is great. So I'm happy to do that.
Yeah.
And then maybe get a low-end, another low-end quarterback. Obviously, you have Kirk Cousins there. So, yeah, I'm happy with this trade. 102, I don't think, like Zach said, you can't get that type of value for C.J. Stroud right now.
No, I don't think
Specifically
I could.
The 102.
If I tried to sell C.J. Stroud in any of my leagues, I don't think I could get the 102.
Yeah, specifically the 102.
Maybe you could get the 102. So, I like this pick. I like the package of picks a lot. All right. Yeah. You guys can always submit a question through the site if you like. We are going to do a Dynasty rookie mock draft, potentially 2 if you guys help us reach that like goal of 125. Appreciate y'all for being here with us. The only bit of news we quickly need to discuss is that Evan Engram is now a Denver Bronco. I think this is like, he was visiting the Chargers and then he signs with the Broncos. 2 of the most ideal spots he could have potentially landed at was, I think, Denver or LA. The sad part about this is everyone pretty much had Colson Loveland penciled in to the Denver Broncos in the 1st round, and that's not going to happen now. But it does mean maybe the Chargers become the favorites, all right, for Colson Loveland in the 1st round, that Michigan connection. But this is incredible. This makes Evan Engram, I mean, I haven't really sorted out my rankings just yet, but I would think this pretty much catapults him straight into my top 12 of Dynasty tight end rankings. A 2-year deal in an offense that I want to be a part of. an offense that needs weapons. I had to move him down temporarily. He's my tight end 10. I haven't changed this since they cut him. I'm waiting for all the news to happen before I make big changes. And I think that's probably where I would keep him, tight end 10. That feels exactly where I would keep him right now after that move. I think it's an incredible fit, personally.
Yeah, do we know the breakdown of his of this contract?
It was pretty significant money. I'm
trying to find it. I can't find it.
I think it was like 14 mil a year or something. I can't find the exact details. But it was pretty decent money.
Yeah, it signed a 2-year, 23 million.
Okay, yeah. So around 12 per. All right.
Yeah.
Ingram's 31. That's fine for me. A 2-year deal here. I think a guy who's going to get a lot of targets, a really good receiving weapon. I think he's going to be a great fit. But, guys, we appreciate you being here. We're going to do a mock draft here. And how can people join this mock draft should they want to?
Yeah, guys, join our Discord. I'll spam that in the chat really quick. Join our Discord. It is first come, first serve. Go to the Fantasyland tab with the orange football to the left of your screen, and then go to announcements. That's how you can join each and every mock draft here with us. You know what? I'll sit out, answer some questions with the community. Zach is in that mock draft. But once again, go to announcements, and that's how you can join each and every mock draft here. 3, 2, 1. There you go.
All right. So that's going to get filled up here. And we are using the landing spots. Shout out to Lou Thomas. All right. Y'all know Sammy Stacks are, someone was upset that we were calling him our intern in a video recently. And that's just been like an inside joke since he started doing these mock drafts for him. We were like mainly joking, calling him an intern. But yeah. I think we will go ahead and award Sammy Stacks the name of... I was thinking we can call Sammy our... lead NFL draft analyst. That sounds better, doesn't it? Sammy Stacks, official lead NFL draft analyst for Dynastyland football. But we're actually giving out someone else an opportunity here to show their mock draft. This is Lou Thomas, I believe. Shout out to Lou. He put this together for us. Look, we can read the entire mock draft on the left side if you want. This link is in the description. And I can also put it in the chat for you guys here if you give me a second, but the link is in the description. I'd rather just focus on the fantasy relevant players, so that's what we're going to do here. So let's have a geese. Here is the link if you want to join us. It's also in the description. But all right, so in this world that we're living in here that Lou Thomas has crafted up for us, all right, Cam Ward is a Tennessee Titan with the first overall pick. Then we get Shador Sanders to your Giants, Travis Hunter to the Patriots. Ashton Jeanty goes 6 overall to the Raiders, which seems more and more likely by the day. It seems like the favorite landing spot at the moment for Ashton Jeanty based off everything I've seen. Tyler Warren goes to the Saints here at pick 9 overall. We get Amarion Hampton, 10th overall to the Chicago Bears. All right, and then Ted McMillan goes to the Cowboys. Love to see that. Seattle gets Matthew Golden, which I have thought about a lot personally, and now I'm seeing it in a lot of these mock drafts. Because if you think about it, if Tet isn't on the board, hypothetically, right, for Seattle, you're probably not going to draft Luther Burden. You're probably not going to draft Emeka Egbuka. Those guys really don't make sense with trying to complement Jackson Smith and Jigba. So Matthew Golden probably makes more sense than those other names.
We've seen that before. I mean, why draft Zach Charbonnet, who was a really similar athlete to Kenneth Walker?
I can't think of a team who had a premier slot wide receiver and then drafted another slot receiver in the first round. Have we seen that before? I have not.
I can think of a team that had a good running back that showed similar attributes to Zach Charbonnet and drafted him exactly in the second round of the year.
That doesn't seem like anywhere near the same situation, but that's fair enough. Pittsburgh gets Jackson Dart, 21st overall. The Chargers go Colson Loveland, and now we're into round 2, all right? Where Jalen Milroe goes to the Browns. Luther Burden falls in the second round to the Tennessee Titans, as well as Jackson Smith and Jigba to the Jaguars. We get Dallas drafting Travion Henderson in the second round. My guy Jalen Knoll to the Cardinals in round 2. Quinshon Judkins to the Broncos. That's hot. Holy hell, I like that. Trey Harris to the Chargers in round 2. Jaden Higgins to the Panthers. Caleb Johnson to the Chiefs. Ooh! Elijah Arroyo to the Eagles. Into round 3, where Jack Besh is a Giant, Mason Taylor is a Chief, Dylan Sampson is a Brown, Alec A.O. Manor is a Raider, Jalen Royals is a Saint, Kyle Williams, my guy, to the Houston Texans, Harold Fannin falls to the Colts in round 3, Cam Scatterbo to the Steelers, the Chargers grabbed Scoot and Tootin, Terrence Ferguson to the Rams, Quinn Ewers to the Saints, Isaiah Bond to the Eagles, Damon Martinez to the Vikings, and Savion Williams to the Rams. Into round number 4, where Xavier Restrepo is a Brown, Will Howard is a Raider. I feel like this is penciled in for most people right now. The Jets get Gunnar Helm, the Panthers get Brashard Smith, the Falcons get Tez Johnson, the Bengals get Ty Felton, the Denver Broncos get Torrey Horton, Tyler Shuck goes to the Rams, the Texans grab DJ Giddens, the Giants grab Devin Neal, Mitchell Evans to the Dolphins, and Ricky White to the Niners. Last round here that we'll look at is 5th round, where we get a bunch of running backs. Kyle Monangai is a Titan. RJ Harvey is a Patriot. Gabriel goes to the Jets. Luke Lachey to the Chiefs. Jaden Blue to the Colts. The Cardinals go ahead and grab Marcus Yarns. The Bengals grab Ollie Gordon. The Jets grab Ja'Cory Brooks. Pat Bryant to the Packers. Brady Cook to the Vikings. Trevor Etienne to the Eagles. Deontay Thornton to the Bills. Taj Brooks to the Dallas Cowboys. Jarquez Hunter to the Ravens. And Jonte Wester to the Ravens. So this is the world we're living in today. All right. Operate out of this world. I'll go ahead and mark off as we go players that are available or unavailable. But we are doing a 12-team super flex PPR tight end premium mock draft, and we're getting it started here in 3, 2, 1.
Wow. All right,
Ashton Jeanty, 101 overall. Remember, went to the
Las Vegas Raiders, which is nice.
Right?
Yeah, I mean, look, it just makes sense. Chip Kelly over there. They get Geno Smith. They're going to be running the ball. No question. I mean, this is kind of one of the landing spots where I was talking about. Like, I don't see him getting out. I personally didn't see him getting outside the top 10. The fact that he goes top 6 is kind of crazy if that's actually true.
Yeah.
I mean, the last time a running back went that high was Sean Barkley.
Yeah, right. I mean, Bijan was what, 8?
8, 9? I think.
Amarian Hampton gets drafted, by the way. Right after that, we do see Tet McMillan coming off the board to the Dallas Cowboys.
How do you feel about Tet to the Cowboys?
I like it a lot. I think Tet really complements CeeDee Lamb. I think you put CeeDee Lamb inside, outside. Tet, you're not really going to do that. He'll be your primary X. They've really needed a complement to CeeDee Lamb for a while. Pretty much since they traded away Amari Cooper, I've felt like they've needed a true complement. And I think they finally get that here with Tet McMillan.
Yeah, that would be crazy, getting Tet in the first and then Travion in the second.
That would be crazy. I feel like they need a lot of help at a lot of different positions, but that would be an incredible start. All right, well, I can consider a wide receiver here. My favorite one is in the 2nd round, Luther Burden. It would be foolish of me not to adjust expectations. It was funny. Someone commented on a video this week. You know how much I just ignore our comment section entirely. It doesn't impact me at all. You know that, right? No, but someone commented on one of our videos, and they were like, when Luther Burden goes in the 2nd round, are you going to admit that you're terrible at what you do or something like that? And I was like, or are you going to move him down your rankings? I was like, of course I'm going to move him down my rankings if he goes 2nd round. Do you think I'm an idiot? Like, do you not listen to any of the content we release ever where we talk about historical hit rates? But I said to him, if he goes in the 1st round, can you please stop, like, questioning him as a player every second you get? But in this world, he goes in the 2nd round. Of course, he's not an option here. Of course, I can't take a 2nd round wide receiver over 1st round wide receivers and quarterbacks and tight ends and 2nd round running backs. That's just not going to happen. That's completely unrealistic.
Yeah.
Now, I'm in a position where I can go either. I'll tell you, it's Quinshon Judkins for me, or it's Caleb Johnson in this scenario. I don't know if you guys remember, if you've looked at our draft guide, if you've watched my videos about the running back class, my comp for Caleb Johnson, my favorite comp for him. Does anybody remember? I'll give you guys a second in the chat, and I'll give you a shout out if you get it. Not that it will mean anything to you, but Does anybody remember my favorite comp for Caleb Johnson? The reason I'm emphasizing this is because the team that he's landing to, someone said LeBron James. The team that he's landing to is the team that my favorite comp played for. And that was Larry Johnson. Shout out to Mark. Mark remembered. Larry Johnson was my favorite comp for Caleb Johnson. So he goes second round to the Chiefs, a team that desperately needs to establish the run game. And that is going to be my pick here. I'm going to take Caleb Johnson off the board.
Huge mistake.
I just love the fit with the Chiefs. They desperately need to establish the run again. It was so obvious that they did not have an efficient running back they could trust last year. And I think Caleb Johnson pretty much steps in and handles 16 plus carries a game for the Chiefs there. I'm obsessed with that idea.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely going to... I think if this was a world, I like Quinshawn because I know how much Sean Payton wants to run the ball. But to be fair, Caleb to the Chiefs, and they want to run the ball as well. Obviously, was dealing with a lot of injuries last year.
Yeah.
That's going to be a tough one to choose if that is a reality.
Sure. I think you can go either way. Like, truly, I don't think there's a wrong move there, in my opinion. You know, Denver was at 26 rushing attempts per game last year. Kansas City was at 25.9. So both of these guys really want to establish the run. And I think you can make an argument that the Chiefs really missed a healthy Isaiah Pacheco, a guy that they could really run their offense through, you know. But of course, Sean Payton's looking for his guy too. So you can make either one of those points very easily.
Yeah.
As Colson Lovin comes off the board, he went to the Chargers in the first round. Then we had nice. Cam Ward, who was a first overall pick to the Titans. Then we have Travis Hunter, who was a fourth overall pick to the New England Patriots.
The Patriots. Yeah. Just basically how things are going to go. Cam Ward, very interesting. Chauncey's on the board here. Let's see where he's going to go.
What are your thoughts on Cam Ward to Tennessee? Give us some insight. You know, let us in. Let us in on that big brain in there.
I like it. I think the more and more the more and more we hear about the community, specifically mainstream media or the NFL, thinking that he's clear and above beyond Shedeur Sanders makes me believe he's the guy. He's going to be successful.
Sure.
You hope that he's going to be successful, right? Like, he may not be a top 5 quarterback, but kind of gives you, is he going to have a decent floor, which maybe we need to reevaluate. Now, is Tennessee the ideal landing spot? Calvin Ridley, they don't really have too many other weapons there. It's just interesting. It makes me wonder every time, and that's the upside. That's who I want the Giants to pick personally. I'd rather go with the upside than the safe floor, because that just makes you mediocre.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's my thought process.
Well, and someone made a great point. In this world, the Titans did draft Luther Burden in round 2 for Cam Ward.
I mean, that's great. And 100%. They all invest in the offensive line as well.
While I haven't been bullish on Cam Ward or Sanders or any quarterback in this class, I have consistently said that you can take him as high as the 103 if you have conviction in him, right? And in this scenario here where he grabs Luther Burden, which complements Calvin really, really well, they've improved their offensive line, I can totally see merit for Cam Ward being your 104, right? Your 103. I don't mind it if you truly have conviction on him there. But I just don't really have conviction on any of the quarterbacks in this class. And that's just how it's been from day one for me. But Shedeur Sanders did go at the 111, by the way. He is a New York Giant in this scenario in round 3 or in round 1. I honestly, as much as I don't really like this class, I'm kind of struggling to see a scenario in which the Giants don't take Shedeur Sanders. I kind of think you're locked into Shedeur Sanders. You have to. Like, the people who are making this pick are going to lose their job if you hire or if you sign Russell Wilson.
Well, that's the thing. Like, I don't know. I mean, I get that perspective. I think they're just going to go best player available. And if they have, let's just say Russell Wilson signs this year. with the Giants. And Cam Ward, Travis Hunter and Abdul Carter is still there. Well, it has to be one or the other, Travis Hunter or Cam Ward. I think they'll go Travis Hunter. They're only going Shador, in my opinion, at this very moment, well, they're not going Shador. They're not going Shador. The only quarterback I think they really want is Cam. I think this whole Shador, Sanders going to the Giants, we're going to be playing in the stadium twice a year, him wearing the cleats, it's all smoke. And it's natural smoke that he created, not what the Giants did. I think they really want Cam, and the only way they get Shador is if he falls into the second round.
Yeah.
Which,
in
reality,
from
if you think about it,
mm-hmm.
If you think about it, that actually could be a possibility. There's no other team in the second half of the draft that would take a quarterback outside the Rams. Maybe the Steelers, but who else is drafting a quarterback?
Yeah, no. I don't think anyone who signed Russell Wilson or Aaron Rodgers is saying we feel comfortable enough not to bring in a young player that we want to build around.
I think they would
I
rather...
believe Shador Sanders is probably a Giant. That's my intuition. I think he's a Giant. I don't think your organization, Brian Daboll, Joe Shane, I don't think they can afford to bring in Russell Wilson and call it a day. They will lose their job. They will lose their job.
I mean, look, I think regardless, they'll probably lose their job because we're going to be a mediocre team again. So I don't think they're going to shoot for the stars. At least I hope not. I hope they will set this team up for success and getting somebody. Because like if you get Aaron Rodgers and you're an 8-8 team, 9-7 team.
Sure.
I mean, are they going to lose their job? Probably not. But if they're 1-15, that's a little bit different.
All right, we asked the question: who is the best value in round number 1? And again, by the way, guys, I don't have conviction on the quarterbacks in this class. I wouldn't take Cam Ward 101 if I was a GM. I'm not. And quarterbacks are impossible to scout. So I could be very wrong. But I don't have a top 10 grade on any quarterback in this class. It's just your situation is very unique in New York. All right, who's the best value in round 1? Travis Hunter is the answer from Eugene. Can you guess what Matthew Smith is saying? Cam Ward. Cam Ward is his pick. Another Cam here from Matt and Joseph. We've got another submission here for Tyler Warren from Kevin. Bo says he can see Sanders in New York City for sure. Parker says Cam Ward's the best value. Which we love to see it. We love to see it. I can Jesse says I definitely can see Loveland going to the Chargers with Engram signing with the Broncos. I can see that too. No doubt about it.
100%.
I think the best value in round 1 is probably the quarterbacks, Ward and Sanders. If they truly go first and third overall, I think it would be hard to not say those are the best value picks in a Superflex league.
Yeah, in the Superflex league, 100%. I said that last time. I think if second close would probably be Tyler Warren, top 8 pick. At the 110, I think is kind of crazy. Obviously, Jawan Johnson doesn't scare me, but he just got a 3-year contract extension. He can't stay on the field, so Tyler Warren is going to be the starter there most likely. But why give Jawan that contract and then draft Tyler?
Yeah, no, it's a good question. It is a very good question. And Tyler Warren can play quarterback too, right? I don't know if you guys know, converted quarterback. You know, Tyler Warren actually had a play this year. And we'll go into round 2 in a second. I don't know if you know this. Tyler Warren had a play this year where he snapped the ball. No, that's real. He lined up as center, and he snapped the ball. And that play ended. I wish I had like a multiple choice right now that I could give you. How did the play end? That play ended with him catching like a 40-yard touchdown. This man snapped the football, and he still caught the football in the end zone for like a 40-yard touchdown. This guy's crazy, the type of versatility that he has. He would be the perfect Taysom Hill replacement there in New Orleans. All right, let's get into round 2 here. Lots of great options still on the board as Jackson Dart coming off the board, going in the first round to the Pittsburgh Steelers. They got nobody else right now, and there are certain people who are sold on Jackson Dart. I don't know how I feel. I don't know that I'd spend a first-round pick on him, but the Steelers thought it was worth it in this world.
I mean, yeah. I mean, you get 2 first-round draft picks going at the 2-1 at the 2-2. Matthew Golden going to the Seattle Seahawks with the 18th overall pick, which is also really exciting.
Yes. He'd be a great fit
linking up with Sam Darnold
JSN and Sam Darnold. Yeah. Kind of would be like the perfect Jordan Addison, equivalent. Obviously, you're not going to have the same wide receiver room in Seattle as you did in Minnesota, right? But yeah, pretty crazy. Emeka Egbuka goes next. You remember, he's falling so far because he was a second-round pick, right? So don't forget, he went in the second round to the Jags, right?
Which is an interesting landing spot.
They've signed De'Ami Brown, but they don't really have anyone else outside of De'Ami and Brian Thomas. They have Parker Washington, I guess, but they could use an upgrade is what I'm saying in that wide receiver room for sure.
Yeah. See what Daniel Macy's thinking.
Yes. All right, Dylan
Sampson going to Cleveland in the 3rd round.
Dylan Sampson in this mock draft that Lou made for us. He had, like Badaki mentioned, Cleveland in the 3rd round for Dylan Sampson. Cleveland, this is for you. Oh, I'm on the clock. I was like, all right, who's next? That would be me. All right. Let me have a little gaze here. Interesting.
I'll kill myself for Brennan. Please don't do that, Brooke.
That's crazy.
Anyways.
That's actually crazy. Okay. There's a couple picks that I really like here. I'm going to probably go running back. And that running back is going to replace, for the Steelers, Najee Harris. Cam Scatterboo, 3rd round pick to the Pittsburgh Steelers. Obviously, Najee just left for LA in free agency. It was originally reported that it was a $9.5 million deal. It wasn't. It was a $5.25 million deal. I still believe the Chargers are going to bring someone in through the draft, but I think Najee is an important part of that backfield this year. But in this scenario, I am going to take Cam Scatterboo, who pretty much replaces the Najee touches in my mind. Yes, Jaylen Warren's a good player, but I think you're going to give Cam Scatterboo 15 touches per game in Pittsburgh and see what he can do for you there, constantly churning them legs, turning lemons into lemonade. So I will take him off the board there, as Jalen Milroe was a 2nd-round pick to the Browns, and he went off the board there at the 206. As Tootin also comes off the board. Tootin was another name I was considering.
Yeah, interesting.
Honestly,
that's why I thought you were gonna go.
The Najee Harris move doesn't really move me. I would still be all on board of like grabbing Tootin here as like this really good compliment to him. But I do have Cam Scatterboo higher in my rankings, so I'm gonna stick to that. With, I think you can argue a better situation maybe for Cam day one.
Yeah, which makes sense. And I was looking at Bashul too, and obviously I'm not in the mock, but I thought that's where you were gonna go. It's going to be interesting to see how they're going to utilize Najee. I mean, you kind of expect that Gus Edwards, J.K. Dobbins role. Yeah. But I can see them, sharing that backfield.
Yeah. So Elijah Arroyo and Trey Harris come off the board. And don't forget Elijah Arroyo, 2nd-round pick to the Eagles, the last pick in the 2nd round. Yeah. And Trey Harris was a 2nd-round pick to the Chargers. Really like that Trey Harris pick, honestly. I like that Trey Harris pick a lot. I think that makes a ton of sense. If Lou is watching with us, Lou, if you don't mind, could you highlight the players who have been taken for me so I can focus more on the stream? Just let me know if you're cool with that or not. No pressure if not.
I can actually do that.
Oh, okay, beautiful. We got a super chat from Kevin, by the way, as Damian Martinez went off the board. He says 12-team Superflex.
I can't do that.
Would you?
Because I can't edit it.
Would you trade away the 210 for Isaac Horrendo? I would prefer the 210 pretty comfortably there.
Yeah.
Like Horrendo a lot, but he shouldn't be valued more than a 3rd right now, especially with them bringing back Jordan Mason, right? I don't know if you guys recognize that. That was one of the more under-discussed signings. They spent the 2nd-round tender on Jordan Mason, so he'll be back with the team. here this year. Josh Shepard says, when discussing hit rates, why don't you take into consideration that 24 wide receivers are as valuable as a 12th running back? Yeah, you know, I keep seeing this narrative, and I keep replying to people, and I keep telling them, let's give wide receivers a huge benefit of the doubt, okay? We want to talk about these historical hit rates, because clearly, yes, you can take that into context, but I'm not sure it's really accomplishing exactly what the people who are advocating for this want it to accomplish. Why don't we just give wide receivers a huge benefit of the doubt, and let's only limit them to a top 24 points per game season as a hit rate, okay? Well, first round would hit at a 53% rate. Why don't we now require running backs to have a hit rate of a top 12 points per game season? So not top 24 like wide receivers. We gave them a big break here. Let's require running backs to have a top 12 points per game season to hit. We go to the superstar hit rate, you'll notice it's still 78.6% for a round one running back. This is why I continually advocate, no matter what, if a running back goes in round one, I will take them over any wide receiver who goes in round one. I will do that now. I will do that next year. I will do that in years beyond. And I understand the question, but I keep getting the question and I keep replying, but I don't know what else to say. Okay, so again, top 24 hit rate for a wide receiver. The hit rate is 53%. Let's make it much more difficult for running backs. Make it top 12 hit rate, and you're still getting a 78.6% hit on a running back, even if you make it much more difficult, right? So that is one of the main reasons why I will still be very bullish on running backs over wide receivers if they go in round one. You know, I understand the question here, but is this a fair reply, Josh? Let me know. You're not the only person who has said this to me. But maybe this is a good forum for me to, you know, talk about that more openly. But yeah, I mean, the numbers still very strongly lead me to believe running back is the right choice. If we get if we get 2 running backs in round one and Tet is still round one, I will still go the running backs over the wide receiver. I still will. There's a reason why Jahmyr Gibbs and Bijan Robinson are constantly going round 2, round 1 in startups, right? It's hard to find that nowadays. These round 1 guys that just dominate, that just you can rely on, you can build around. Running backs that you can build around, there's like 4 names. Wide receivers that you can build around, you could advocate for 30 names. Genuinely. If you're about to do a startup draft and you're like, I want to build around the wide receivers. Great. I have a list of 50 names. 50 is exaggerating. I have a list of 30 names that you can comfortably build around, even if you're trying to rebuild. How many names would you put on that list for the running back position? And what do those names have in common? If you're saying, I want to rebuild, I want a young team, you know, I want to be a competitive young team. Think about the future. There are 2 names you can really point you towards. Those names are Jahmyr Gibbs and Bijan Robinson. What do they have in common? They were first round running backs. These don't grow on trees, right? You just can't go trade for Jahmyr Gibbs. You can't go trade for a Bijan Robinson. And that's just the difference in philosophy for me. I mean, I can tell you if you're about to do a startup and you want to build around wide receivers, fantastic, okay? Then let me tell you my wide receiver 30. Let me pull this up for you guys. Let me get rid of these draft picks. My wide receiver 33 is Jalen McMillan. My wide receiver 34 is Jaden Reed. My wide receiver 36 is Josh Downs. You can build around these players. All right. Xavier Worthy's at 26. Ricky Pearsall's at 28. Zay Flowers at 25. Jameson at 24. Waddle at 23. Right? I mean, you can get these guys and build around them. But a round 1 running back, you cannot get a round 1 running back. You just can't. You can't do it. So yeah, I mean, that really is the rationale. You start 2 running backs in your leagues, most of your leagues. You start 2 wide receivers in most of your leagues. In almost all of the leagues you guys are in, I imagine you can flex wide receivers. I imagine you can flex running backs, right? So that's why they both have top 24 points per game seasons. Whereas in your lineups, you only start 1 quarterback and 1 tight end. Correct? That's why those are a little bit more harsh. You have to be a top 12 points per game to hit the star status and a top 6 points per game to hit the superstar status. But even if we're talking like trying to hit ceiling outcomes for players, A round 1 pick for a ceiling outcome for the stars of the stars is always the better bet to make. I rest my case. All right. Jalen Noel went off the board. Jack Best went off the board. Devin Neal, RJ Harvey.
Here we go.
Let's see here. I've got a pick to make.
But yeah, by the way, I can't edit it because I'm not an editor, unfortunately.
Yeah, that's okay. I'm gonna go ahead and take Jalen Royals here. He went to the Saints in round 3, so I'll show my guy some love here at the 305.
The New Orleans Saints. Mason Taylor off the board here. He went to the Kansas City Chiefs in the 3rd round. So again, the Travis Kelce replacement, even though he's not retiring this year.
Yeah, big time. RJ Harvey off the board. Devin Neal, Jack Best, Jalen Royals, Mason Taylor, DJ Giddens. I was thinking about DJ Giddens myself. He was a 4th round pick to the Houston Texans, here, which we love to see. I think Lou's gonna block that out for us, which is great. But yeah, he was also another great pick. I mean, he tested really well. Probably had one of the most underrated combines of any player at the combine, I'd say. Yeah. Anyway, chat, do you think that's fair? Let's wrap this up with a bow. You guys think that's fair? All right. What I'm saying about 1st round running backs. I think the main contention from the audience is that I keep saying no matter what running back it is in the 1st round, I will take them over Ted McMillan. I think that's the main contention from people. So I feel pretty strong in my conviction. Does that make sense now as to why? Let me know. Silas Green here with the super chat. He says, updated to SG3 trade question. Counter CJ for 104, 108, Jordan Mason. I have CMC and Isaac Herendo. 104 and 108 is a little bit less attractive, to be honest.
Yeah.
I mean, earlier you said the 102 and the 108. I'm not really as bullish on that trade offer, to be honest. Jordan Mason, not a name that's Jordan really Mason moving the needle for me.
Yeah, I agree.
What does the chat think? What does the chat think? I'd love to hear the chat's opinion. Say again.
I'd rather have the other trade. I would say this trade is still what the other trade was 102 and the 108. He's getting the 104 and the 108 and Jordan Mason. I would rather get another second. Make that a random second.
Yeah, make that the 206 and then we have a deal or something.
Yeah, I'm happy to do that. If you're telling me I move back 2 spots and I still get a 1st round pick, but I get a 2nd rounder from that person, because Jordan Mason doesn't move the needle. I know you have CMC and Isaac Herendo, but I just don't want it.
Yeah. I think that would be a counter that would get us there for sure. All right, so we saw Alec A.O. Manor go off the board, Torrey Horton, Terrence Ferguson, Harold Fannin. In this mock draft we're using, Harold Fannin, where did he drop to? He went round 3 to the Colts. So that's probably why he fell so far. Will Howard's a fun pick, I think, in round 4, a little dart throw. Obviously, the hit rate on quarterbacks is not very high. But the reason you get excited about a Will Howard is because he goes round 4 to the Raiders. And his offensive coordinator is now in town, right, with the Raiders. And we have seen Pete Carroll in the past hit on a 4th round quarterback a la Russell Wilson.
Yeah.
All right. I'm on the clock here. Is Kyle Williams in the database yet? No. I'm going to take Kyle McCord. I imagine no one's going to draft him, but that's actually Kyle Williams there for me. Kyle Williams went round 3 to the Houston Texans. Remains one of my only sleepers really in the class. I think there aren't any sleepers really with the world we live in with Twitter. But I think Kyle Williams remains like the one actual sleeper that you can point to and say, yeah, this guy's a true sleeper.
Yeah, completely agree. Especially with that landing spot there.
As Quinn Ewers comes off the board, Rocket Sanders.
Big old Rocket Sanders.
Trying to keep up with the chat here. You guys are awesome. Thanks for the love and the support on today's streaming. By the way, Josh, let me know if that's a fair counter to this debate, because I do see that debate often in our comment section, but I wanted to take time out and really
taking running backs over first round pick and the hit rate.
It's just, people had, I released my updated rankings after the combine, and I believe Hampton's probably going to be a first round pick. If he's not, we'll readjust. But the problem most people have with my updated rankings was that I said, I don't care what running back goes in the first round. If they go in the first round, I will take them over any wide receiver, including Tet McMillan. So people were frustrated that I had, in that scenario, Amarion Hampton in his own tier, right? And
Sure.
I tried to back that up with historical hit rates, and people were like, well, it's way easier to hit, for certain positions. That's why I specifically went back again and said, let's make it way harder for running backs to hit then, right? And running backs still hit at a 78, almost 79% rate for a top 12 points per game season. Whereas wide receivers, even if you make the hit rate much easier, top 24 points per game season, they're still at 53% at best. At best. So that was a problem I think a lot of people had an issue with. Josh, I think it's fair. I would be interested to see how many hit rates change if the criteria was like top 3 points per game season versus top 12, 24. I think running back has hits that aren't that good. Yeah, I mean, that's I feel like that is in a way kind of really limiting the type of data you're collecting. You'll get a lot of Devontae Adams. I can promise you that, my friend. You'll get a lot of Devontae Adams, and round 2 will look very favorable. I don't know if that's really representative. Do you know what I mean? I don't know how representative that actually is of a hit. If we went that route, I can promise you a lot of the data is going to be Devontae Adams, and round 2 is probably going to look as good, if not better, than round 1. But yeah, look, there's no perfect set of data. I can recognize that.
And is this just basic? Like, what about? Like, I get what they're saying. I think every scenario is different, because what happens if you have a talent that is? What if you had Malik Neighbors and then Ashton Genty in a draft, hypothetically, and they both went top 10? Like, are you still taking the running back then? Or like, what is that? What's that separation then, right? Because you're going to get 2 elite talents.
Yeah. I think that comes down to conviction.
I would still go the
I
wide
think that
receiver.
comes down to your personal conviction. I really do. I think that comes down to your personal conviction. Now, I had strong conviction on Malik Neighbors last year, right? We said this is an elite talent. This is an elite tag. In fact, we had 4 elite tags in our prospect grades last year.
Yeah.
I only have 1 in this year's class. That is Ashton Genty. So that will come down to some preference. And if you want to try and hit on upside, sure. But if you want to make the safer bet, it's probably with the running back, right?
Okay.
But anyway, we did reach our like goal, I think. Let's double check. Did we reach our like goal? I think we're going to pop off another mock draft. Oh, wow. Yeah, you guys smashed the like goal. You guys are awesome. Okay, cool. So let's go ahead and get to another mock draft here.
Yeah. And as Zach is setting that up, guys, join our Discord. The link is in our description. I'll put that link in the chat there for you. It is first come, first serve. And if you joined the mock draft, the first mock draft, maybe give somebody another opportunity to join. Just because, we got a lot of people here trying to mock and practice for the season, their rookie mocks. But we really appreciate you guys. Once again, go to the Fantasyland tab with the orange footballs. Go to announcements. That's how you can join each and every mock draft in the future. And I can send that link out here for you guys. Give me a second.
And we're going to go ahead and reset this mock so no one is taken. And then, Lou, if you're with us, if you can follow along for this next one, that would be great, but no pressure.
There you go. That link is out for that new mock draft.
Benjamin says, best value in round 1, hands down, Ashton Genty. You love to see it. Okay, cool. We'll get this second mock draft popping here. I forgot to join, but that's actually totally fine because I want to let you guys shine here. 30 seconds on the clock, so same landing spots, 30 seconds, same landing spots. So, be careful. The landing spots are in the description if you want to follow along. Let's push this.
Someone get Cam Ward in the chat. Huh?
Yeah, let's get Cam Ward in the chat. Let him talk shit to me.
Get him. He's like, you don't think I'm a good talent?
I never said that. I just don't think he's worthy of the 101.
Oh, sorry. I actually wonder what somebody like that would say. It's like,
oh, I'm sure their response would be, I don't care what a random little white kid in a chair is saying on YouTube. I think that's probably what their response would be. Which I don't blame them.
Yeah, he's making crazy money.
Oh, my camera is bugging out right now.
He making correct.
Okay, I think we're back.
So we get Ashton Genty, Marion Hampton, and Travion Henderson. Ashton Genty obviously goes to the Las Vegas Raiders. Marion to Chicago Bears with the 10th overall pick. And then Travion Henderson does go to the Dallas Cowboys in the early second round, which is really exciting.
Yeah. Those running backs would be so hard to not pick,
Yeah, 100%.
Again, I don't have an elite tag on any wide receiver in this class. I only have the gold tag on a couple guys. And I do think the running backs are just the strength of this class. So I think if this world actually played out and Genty's a first-round pick to the Raiders and Hampton is a first-round pick to the Bears at 10 overall, and Henderson then goes to the Dallas Cowboys. I mean, I think at minimum, Genty and Hampton here. Is this not the RB 3 and 4 in Dynasty?
Genty and Hampton?
Genty's the RB 3, no doubt. But is Hampton not top 5? Maybe you put Saquon ahead of him?
Yeah, I think. Yeah, I would say.
You know what I mean? So those guys aren't getting out of the first 2 rounds of a startup draft. They're just not if this happens.
Yeah, Marion, I think would be at the turn. I think Ashton will lock himself into the first round for sure, and I think Marion will be at the turn. So like Ashton is going 202, 203. I think he will go like 110, 111. Omarion goes 202, 203.
He's saying in startups, right? Yeah, you're saying Genty would be like late first, Hampton would be a mid-second range. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I think.
I think I agree. Again, and if it were to pan out like this, we're not claiming that it will, but this is the world we're living in. There's no point of doing a mock draft exercise and not trying to play out these scenarios, right? I do think, as much as I love Luther Burden, if he doesn't go in round 1, and you're looking at like his biggest advocate on YouTube right now, I don't think I can take him over some of these other guys. Like I don't think I can take him over, a Matthew Golden and the tight ends and Shador Sanders, who was 3rd overall. I love the guy. I think he's going to succeed in the NFL, no doubt about it. But I just don't know that I could do that. I have to be realistic.
Yeah, 110 there. Early second is a tough one. Sanders goes at the 112 there. So we have a nice little run. So Quinshawn, Ted, Tyler, Travis, Caleb. Caleb at the 1-9, I think is pretty surprising for a guy that got early or late second round capital, but to the Chiefs. I think he'll be locked in like top 7.
Yeah.
In a mock draft if he is going to the Chiefs. Ted.
Matthew Golden falling that far is very surprising. I mean, guys, I have Igbuka and Burden over him in my rankings right now as well. But if we're actually living in this world, this hypothetical, are you really telling yourself you would draft a round 2 wide receivers over a first round Golden here? I don't know. I would find that tough to do. Draft capital plays a very, very important part in all of this. Which is why I keep telling people, if Cam Ward goes 1 overall, of course he's going to be, top 5 in my rankings. Of course,
Yeah. Completely understand.
Yeah, Colton, the landing spots are all in the description, my friend. If you look at the description of this video, you'll see them. Let me see if I can copy them and send them in the chat again. Let me see. Let's see. Bang, there you go. DTLH decides to call out one of the biggest outliers in the last 5 years with what we just talked about. But I think the difference there is I had Lad McConkey as my wide receiver 5. I had Ricky Pearsall as my wide receiver 11. They weren't in the same tier. They weren't even close. Golden and Igbuka are in the same tier for me. Golden, Igbuka are all in the same tier. So,
yeah,
of course, there's always going to be outliers.
That.
Like, it's silly to point out one outlier because you're going to have that. Okay, so you're not going to take a round 7 running back in a rookie draft. Well, what about Isaiah Pacheco? Of course. I mean, come on. Of course, we can go ahead and point to Isaiah Pacheco being the outlier for round 7 running backs in the past 7 years, right? But yeah, I mean, you also are just ignoring any context, right? Like last year, when you and I made our rankings, Badaki, we said, hey, context is also super important to these hit rates. This year of 2024, the wide receivers were stronger than they had been in a long time. So Lad going in one of the first picks in the 2nd round, we pretty much considered him first round capital. We pretty much gave him that tag because it was one of the strongest offensive drafts we had ever seen. They set records for the most offensive players drafted in the top 20, you know? So, I mean, of course you can point to outliers, but your outlier has no context. And outliers, of course, exist. There will always be outliers to any data, no? Otherwise, Austin Eckler and Amon-Ra St. Brown and Jalen Hurts and George Kittle, these guys just, they exist. You can't ignore them. In round 2, we saw Trey Harris, Jalen Knoll, Jackson Dart, Cam Scatterboot, Jalen Milroe, Jaden Higgins, Jalen Royals, Dylan Sampson, and Bashul Tootin go off the board. Tootin that late was definitely surprising, considering he was a 3rd round pick to the Chargers. I was a little bit surprised to see him go that late.
Yeah, Tootin going there at the 211. As Tootin goes off the board, they also pick up Mike Williams off the street. He's going back to the Chargers, it looks like. Signing a 1-year deal. Mike Williams. Mike Will
made it.
Yeah.
Wow, that's extremely boring.
It is extremely boring, unfortunately.
By the way, Kyle Trask, who has done literally nothing to prove he could even be a backup in the NFL, just signed a new deal where he gets about $3 million.
Imagine doing nothing.
That is the best job in the NFL. You can't convince me otherwise. No pressure at all at any moment. You get to travel and watch all the games. You get to be in the locker room, and you get to be paid millions and millions and millions of dollars to do nothing.
Yeah.
And then, by the way, if you actually become important at work on accident, everyone expects you to fail.
On accident.
You know what I mean? Everyone's already like, "Yeah, he's gonna fail anyway." Now you become a legend if you succeed. Taylor Heineke.
Yeah. On accident. He got on the field by accident. It's not by accident. It's because somebody got hurt.
Have you never heard of have you never seen the meme? I actually became important at work and it's ruining my life.
No, yeah,
You've never
I
seen
just
that
think
meme?
I have. I just think it's funny. Like, on accident. Just the way you.
But yeah, that's got to be the best job in the NFL, I think, by far. All right. In the 3rd round, we get Isaiah Bond, Devin Neal, Elijah Arroyo, Mason Taylor, DJ Giddens, Damian Martinez, and Kyle McCord.
Jack Besh to my New York Football Giants.
DTLH, if you want to draft based off of outliers, then no one's going to tell you not to do it, man. No one's going to tell you not to do it. All right. I mean, I think the majority of people in this chat can recognize, I know what an outlier is. I can recognize it. It doesn't mean it's going to change the way I draft. I mean, are you going to start to build your draft ideology around outliers? Let me know. I went on a bitchy rant apparently, Badaki. I went on a bitchy rant.
Yeah, look good. Love, man. Appreciate you.
I mean, you want to take time out of your day to answer someone's question, and then they complain about it. Okay, fair enough. Jack Besh, man, I'm not liking that he's fallen this far down the boards. I mean, I am, but I am not liking it from the perspective of why is the hype not still there? He went to your Giants in round 3, and I like the fit a lot. I think he'd be the perfect number 2 with Malik Neighbors, but I don't like that we keep seeing him in round 3. He was a round 2 guy after the Senior Bowl, and now we're starting to see him continually drop.
Yeah, it's just based off, I would imagine, landing spot. Not that many people are seeing the Giants as an appealing landing spot, which is unfortunate.
By the way, I have no problem with you asking a question, DTLH. I have a problem with you being upset that I answered it. Like, I'll just ignore your question next time if you're going to get butthurt about it. Ollie Gordon, where is the role? I know the role isn't in the chat with us because no one's talking about how Ollie Gordon keeps falling. That's how you know the role isn't present, because he's always like the Ollie Gordon guy, taking him round 1, you know, talking about the hype, saying he's the best value in the draft. You can tell when the role isn't present on a stream, can't you?
Yeah, the role's always here pushing up the ADP. The role in his home league is going to take Ollie Gordon the first round no matter where he goes.
I think so.
Guaranteed.
What's up? Bajord says, I'm in a pickle here. KTC says I lose as the flock calculator says I win. The 101 for the 105, a third and a fourth. I mean, that's the 101 side by far.
Are you getting the 101 side? Yeah, if you're getting the 101 side.
The 101 side, it's not even close. You're getting a second round pick to move from the 101 to the 105 and a third and a fourth. It's worlds apart. Are you saying KTC is saying that you win this? I mean, we talk about how inherently flawed KTC is. Constantly saying use it as a weapon, not a resource. I wonder if that's what he's saying. The 101, 105, 207, 2025 third.
They're already saying the 5 and the 107.
Okay, wow, that's hilarious. All I had to do was add the third. And KTC is saying you're overpaying here. If this offer hit my inbox, Badaki, I would laugh at it if I had the 101.
Yeah,
I would be laughing at this offer.
He'll send me a screenshot. I'll be like, you see what this guy sent me?
I would probably send Badaki a screenshot and say, look at this shitty offer I just got.
Look at this.
All right, let's have a look. What does the flock calculator say? I guarantee you it's actually... let's use expert consensus here. All right, this is Superflex. Start 9, I think it is. Okay, so I'm sending them the 101, and they're giving me the 105. Let's say a mid-second. Let's say a mid, well, do we have thirds? A third and a fourth. Okay. What does the flock calculator say? Yeah, it says you lose because that's a stupid trade. This is inherently the flaw with KTC. They don't put a premium value on premium assets. The top receivers, the Neighbors, the Brian Thomas, the Jeffersons, the CeeDee Lambs, the Josh Allens, the Lamar Jacksons, the Jaden Daniels, the Bijan Robinsons, the Jahmyr Gibbs. They don't know how to value them properly. That's why our website is by far the best at actually valuing those top-end talents. This is a terrible offer. It's disgustingly bad. The 101 by far is the most value. It's not even close. It's a joke.
I agree.
So yeah. Trying to keep up with the chat here. Saw says, I think Zach's explanation was pretty self-explanatory. If you have conviction, that's one thing. But relying on outliers is just poor to justify poor statistical decisions is wild. Yeah, exactly. There you go.
Just have to be better.
Charlie says, I swapped my late first for the 108. Not sure how I feel. If you really think you're going to go out there and compete, then I have no problem with it. No worries, Colton. I'm glad you were able to get in, my friend. That was fun. Zach says, I just signed up for a year-long membership on Flock. I used Mason's promo code last year to sign up for free, but now I just paid. Can I have you to do my league? So what you'll need to do, my friend, is you'll need to go to our Discord, and you'll need to go to site issues right here. All right, and then basically just tell Mason, we have a 24-hour rule that you wanted to support us. You just paid for a yearly membership. And as long as it's within 24 hours, we honor that. So he's going to be able to get that all sorted out for you. So make sure you go to site issues and let our developers know that. Of course, there are certain rules to protect creators. There's quite the debate going on right now about, different codes and stuff. But one thing that is for sure is that if it was within 24 hours, you have a lot of power there. Okay, so definitely do that, Zach, and feel free to DM us if you have any questions. All right, that was the first part of today's stream. I just want to say thanks. This was a really fun stream. You guys are really showing up, contributing in the chat. I appreciate y'all big time. Do us a favor, go ahead and smash that like button to show some love. We already absolutely obliterated our first like goal, which is 125. And we did 2 mock drafts. Like we said, this is a 2-part stream. So now we are going to go ahead and get to the second part of today's stream, which is reviewing people's Dynasty teams and, helping them get in the right direction. Now, here's what I'll say. I just put a link in the chat. That is a link to become an annual Mother Flocker member with our promo code, which is LAND. You do get a team playbook, which is a complete customized game plan for your offseason. Specific trade targets for your team, what to do with your draft capital, a complete overview. You can get a playbook, again, by becoming a LAND annual Mother Flocker member, or you can go to the Flock store, regardless of what promo code you've used, and purchase a team playbook there. Just make sure you get the live tier if you want it done live. And the reason we require you guys to do that live tier is more because of demand than anything. And right now the demand is there for the live tier. So make sure if you want it done live, you get the live tier. But of course, there's a lot of people out there who, they do want the offline version. If that's you, then there's no problem with that, right? But we are going to go ahead and get to these team reviews. And by the way, when you become an annual member, not only do you get a voucher, which is what happens. You get a voucher in your site, and then you can decide if you want to upgrade to the live one. But you get the voucher on the Flock site for us to use a team review with. But you also get our 2025 rookie report. All right, you get free trade question voucher. You unlock our complete rankings, all the premium tools and databases on the website. And of course, you're supporting myself and Badaki. Our rookie report is already up on the Flock site. We are very, very proud of our rookie report. If you haven't had a chance to check it out, definitely take some time. I think you'll thank yourself. Once you have a look at it, you can download it for offline viewing. All the links are linkable, right? So if you want to look at RAS hit rates and what the combine really means, you can click on that. The bottom left, there's a back to contents button. You can look throughout the entire draft guide, right? And just go straight back.
Can't even lie, I go crazy.
Looks great, and Badaki's been working on that for us on the back end of things. All right. What do we think? Should we get into these team reviews?
Yeah, I think Rowan,
sorry, I just want to clarify. If you become a yearly member, we are happy to do it live if there's no queue or demand. But right now, because the demand is so high, we do require you to it's only $7 for members to upgrade, right? With that super chat, just send a super message. But that's the only reason. Okay, that's the only reason. Is just because of demand right now. Yeah. All right, let's dive in, shall we?
Yeah.
I think Tiv is offline, right?
Yeah, Tiv is offline, so it's Tony.
Hey, Tony.
Hey, Tony.
I'm walking here.
Tony. Tony, appreciate you, man. Thank you so much for the support. Let's have a look at this team or this context here. This is a 1 quarterback, 12 team start 8. So that's the meat and potatoes. Just a pretty basic standard lineup there. Let's have read this context. He said, Miss Champ final after exiting rebuild. Collected 25 picks in 2023 season. Brooks has been my RB2 plan. Now I have a ton of picks, 2 open taxi spots, plus stashing guys I hope to trade if they get value bumps. Do I consolidate on running back now, like someone like Chuba, or hold/roll the dice on 25 draft? You guys rock. Okay, so let's have a look. Your team is Scuffs, and you're currently ranked first. Okay. Let's have a look at this team here. Scruffles, actually. Your team name is called. This is a 1 team. You're currently ranked first out of 12. And let's look at this.
Yeah. There's a pretty big imbalance in your league. I think a lot of people not knowing what they're really doing, which you can take advantage of. Clearly, people already have. He is ranked first. Like you said, 1 quarterback, 12 team start 8. Which, that's a small starting lineup, right? We're going to really want a lot of premium players in those positions, in those slots, our starting running backs, wide receivers, flexes. So let's keep that in mind as we go. We don't have specific picks for these players. And if the only reason that would happen is if your league hasn't set the draft order yet. So we're going to have to guess a little bit with these picks right now, but that's okay. Go ahead and read through this context.
1 quarterback league. So Jaden Daniels, CJ Stroud, phenomenal quarterback room. You don't have to do anything there. At the running back position, Kenneth Walker, Tyrone Tracy, Ramondre Stevenson, Jonathan Brooks, and the list goes on. It's not the strongest room. Definitely, like you said, need another running back. We do believe in Tyrone, but they could draft another running back. At the wide receiver position, you can start up to 4 wide receivers. 2 wide receivers and then 2 flex spots, depending on however way that is set up. You have Jamar Chase, Drizzy, Marvin Harrison, Roma Dunze. Those are your starting 4 with Rondell Robinson and Christian Kirk there, with TJ Hawkinson and Ben Sinnott in the wings. You do have 2 first-round picks. You have 2 second-round picks in 2025, and you do have a 26 first, which is helpful.
Yeah, 225 first is great. I wish I knew exactly where they would land. What we know is he missed the Champions final after. So I assume this is a late first, his own, right? Let's go and assume that with Daniels and this team probably brought him pretty far. Now he has the Dabu's first round pick, and if we look at the Dabu, that looks like a very good first round pick. Well, Jordan Love was injured a lot last year. Same with Tua. Jacobs got a late start. Pacheco was injured. Tyreek Hill was terrible. Diggs got injured. I'm going to go ahead and just kind of guess here that let's say we have a late and a mid first round pick for the sake of, this.
So we do have some context here. He says, I forgot to mention.
Okay.
I forgot to mention I have an offer for my 109.
Okay.
Oh, so he just sent another message. He has the 108 and the 109. So if you're here with us, Tony, you can jump on into the YouTube chat, which would be really
just say,
helpful.
Hey, I'm Tony.
Hey, Tony. Yeah.
I'm walking in. Give me a cup of coffee.
108 and 109. Because I just pulled up that chat and it looks like he refreshed. He just sent that message there.
Yeah.
So 108 and 109 he has.
Yes. It's a good team, man. I mean, let's think about that starting lineup, right? Daniels, Walker, Tracy, Chase, London, Hawkinson, Marvin. That's 1 more player you need now, which can be Adunze, Stevenson. We really need to figure out that last flex and ideally RB2. So I think in an ideal world this offseason, we'll be looking at adding to that running back room and a flex. So maybe 2 running backs or 1 running back and a wide receiver is probably like the ideal outcome here.
Agreed.
Yeah. Sorry, I know I'm trying to ignore the chat, but I can't ignore this. Not in any way, shape, or form have we ever on this channel, including the video that we released 2 days ago, said that Saquon Barkley is worth the 103. What we said simply is if you can send the 103 for Saquon, then it's a no-brainer deal. We did value him at the 102, but we do value Ashton Jinty ahead of Saquon at the 101. So I want to clear that up. Okay, sorry. Sometimes I can't resist. Good team. If we look at the starting lineup right now, including the draft capital, I'd probably put it, what, like A-? It's a pretty solid team with that wide receiver room.
Yeah, I'm happy to do A-.
You're definitely, as far as pathway goes, you're definitely a contender, no doubt about it. Like we're trying to go out there and compete. We have our first next year, which is great, but the amount of players we have both now and what we'll do with these draft picks will put us in a position where I think we're strong contenders, if not the favorites. You're not a Thanos by any means, but you should definitely be a favorite. As far as untouchables, Jamar Chase, Jaden Daniels, let's say. He's not untouchable technically in a one quarterback, but for your scenario, wanting to compete right now, I don't see a reason to move him. As far as holds, I would say Marvin and Rome, two guys who were relatively underwhelming this year, are some strong holds on this team. I'd also add Ben Sinnott into there as well.
I need one more.
And Michael Mayer, considering he could potentially be traded. As far as drop candidates, you can drop Tyler Bidet probably. Herbert just signed a backup deal with the Colts. If you need to make cuts with your draft picks, those are probably the two guys I'd cut, even with Herbert signing that backup deal.
I agree.
Draft capital grade, I'd put at like a B-.
Yeah.
What do you think?
So B-, A-. I'm okay with B-. It's good capital. You had your two first round picks, and then your 26 first as well, so which is really helpful.
Yeah. All right, should we go to the chalkboard? Any other admin stuff we need to talk about?
No, I think that's good.
You're a strong contender. Let's find a way to
sorry.
Say again.
Be back, sorry. I'll be back. Give me 1 second. Sorry.
All right, he's a strong contender. I want to find a way to improve your ability to go out there and contend, right? So ideally, you're kind of in this range where Burden's probably not available, but I mean, he can go second round. We can add Igbuka here. I think Igbuka in a one quarterback league, we're probably not going to think about these quarterbacks. This is probably like the range of players you're thinking about. Okay, so at the 108, in the ideal world, you land a Judkins or a Henderson, right? And then you come back at the 109 and you grab a Caleb Johnson, an Igbuka, a Golden. I think that is your ideal outcome, one of these names in these first two rounds. In the second round, I mean, look, it's pretty much impossible to give you good advice on that right now, especially without knowing exactly where it is. But when the draft is finished, our rookie report will have our updated rankings, and you'll be able to view them pretty easily. Now, the other option is not max value, but it's trade for a vet with this team, right? I mean, let's say you added a Henderson and an Igbuka, right? That would be a pretty good outcome for this team, right? Henderson gives you a solid RB2. It makes you a little bit less worried about Tyrone Tracy's, what will happen with the Giants in this draft. It gives you Igbuka as another flex option. I think that's an ideal outcome. Now, in your scenario, I wouldn't mind moving off of Tyrone Tracy. I would say if you can get any first in any year, then I would be completely comfortable moving off of Tyrone Tracy. However, if you're only able to get like a 206 to 208 range, I'm probably aiming to hold in that scenario rather than selling, considering you're trying to compete right now. So again, any first in any year, it's probably not going to happen. I mean, look, even if you can, let's say this is a late second you can send the 211, right? And you can try and go get like the 111 this year, as an example, right? To kind of just get yourself out of that uncertainty of will or will not the Giants draft the running back. Sorry, I just saw Mac Jones went and signed a deal with the 49ers. So he will be the backup of Brock Purdy. And the reason that was interesting to me is because I don't know if you guys remember, in that draft, everyone thought the Niners moved up to draft Mac Jones. Before the draft even happened, everyone was like, it's Mac Jones. It's Mac Jones. And then they drafted Trey Lance. Obviously, the answer was no one, was neither option, but it's just funny. No worries, DRK. Happy to have you here, man. Happy to have you here. But yeah, I like this outcome a lot for you. I think with a team like this, assuming this is like a mid to late second, I would probably be looking to add like a Davante Adams. I'd probably be looking to add like a Cooper Kupp for a late second. You know, kind of give yourself a little more flexibility with that last flex. A Cortland Sutton, maybe. Davante Adams would be like the number one preference there. You're probably going to have to send a mid second for him now, like the 206 range, I'd say. But I think it's worth it in your scenario. Now, you can stick and pick with those picks that you have. Or you can look at using them in a trade for a veteran. For example, the 109 for Josh Jacobs. We're seeing this deal everywhere. And I think it's a no-brainer for a team like yours, right? A team that has Kenneth Walker and Tyrone Tracy, adding Josh Jacobs into that. And then let's say you use the 109 on Josh Jacobs, but use the 108 on another young running back, right? So I think in that scenario, that would really cover all your bases. It would give you the upside of the 108, and it would give you the security as a contender to go out and get the production of a Josh Jacobs as well. Josh Jacobs is so cheap right now, so affordable right now. He's like the number one name that just kind of came to mind for me. You know, Kyron Williams in that range as well. I would also be interested in looking at a Chuba Hubbard deal, but getting a plus on top of this. So let's see what the Chuba Hubbard owner has now. Don't forget, Rico Dowdle just signed in Carolina. That's a joke for legal reasons. Yeah, I mean, it's hard to say because we don't know what where these guys are in the draft. But the equivalent of the 208 or something. You know, the 206 to 208 range, right? I think that makes a lot of sense for you as well. I love the idea of Davante Adams. I think Davante Adams is the perfect add for your team. You know, you can extend that to Mike Evans, Chris Godwin after signing that long-term deal, right? You could use one of these names for sure. We talked about Josh Jacobs, Kyron Williams. The 109, I mean, funnily enough, when we have these picks, typically we are suggesting to go get DJ Moore for a contender, but you already have Rome Odunze. So I don't really think you need to do that. Do these shitty teams have anything interesting? I mean, like Tyreek Hill, for example, let's add that as an option for a mid-second for your contending team. Let's see. Addison, Judy. Okay, that's perfect. This guy who is really bad has Davante Adams, so he could be looking at trying to sell him. Deebo Samuel comes to mind for a late second. That's like the same as Cooper Kupp type of deal. I like that a lot for your team. So trying to use those, like if we're able to send one late second for Davante Adams, and then we come back, you know, and send the 109 for Josh Jacobs in this scenario. Well, you still have another second, and then you spend the 108 on a Henderson, a Judkins, a Johnson. I just love that combination of adding Caleb Johnson, let's say, for example, Josh Jacobs and Davante Adams to this roster. That puts you in a place where you're still getting young talent to build around, but you are also adding veterans that can help you go out and win right now. I think that's the perfect plan for this team. Tony, by the way, says, my seconds are both late. Okay, yes. So let's use the same names, but let's say instead of, you know, this mid-second for Godwin, Evans, you add a couple of your thirds, right? Hypothetically, Tony. So let's change that verbiage. Let's say a late second plus, you know, the third in these deals instead. And, you know, it might not always get done, but it will get you into the building and at least to have a conversation, right? Let's say that same deal for Davante Adams as well, right? So let's say that's the 307 and the 309 or something. Right? So yeah, I'm a big fan of that kind of idea myself. And I think that's the path forward for this team, man. Use one of these picks to get guaranteed production at the running back position. Use the other to go out and trade for veterans that can, or use the other picks already to go out and draft a young upside running back in a Henderson Judkins type of vibe, right? So, yeah, that would be my overall game plan. I love the Jacobs ad. I love the Devontae Adams ad. Tyreek Hill's a great addition for your team. And then I think if you can sell Tyrone Tracy for any late first, I think that's also a very good idea. But Tony, don't feel like you need to super chat any other questions. But I want to hear your thoughts. If you have any other questions, anything that you think we didn't answer well enough, now is your time to shine, my friend. Or anything that we didn't cover, now is your time to shine. I will say, if you guys are out there and you're watching the stream, and you want your team playbook, check out the pinned comment. Become an annual Mother Flocker member with the promo code LAND. You get a voucher, right, to get that playbook, and that is all available to you at flockfantasy.com/land.
Appreciate you, Sony. Thank you so much. And as we wait, if you have any last-minute questions, obviously the floor is yours. You will be receiving your playbook within 72 hours on the Flock Fantasy website, where you just sent your picks in that extra message with that extra context. Just look at that within 72 hours. And you'll get a customized playbook with everything that we brought up here for you today. But we really appreciate you. He says, I like it, guys. It's great advice. Just nervous about Chase Brown offer, love him, but being volume based. I'm worried they draft somebody.
Did he send that? Okay, yeah. So he said, I forgot to mention I have an offer of my 109 and 312 for Chase Brown. Yeah, it's... I don't know. I'd rather go Josh Jacobs here. No, this is the other offer that he just sent. I'd rather go Josh Jacobs. I think Chase Brown is going to be safe. I just don't know that for sure.
Yeah, I think it really depends on what's going to happen with Hendricks. Because if they're going to lose one of their key premier guys,
they could get a lot of capital.
They could get a lot of capital. You're right. Is it another first round?
Yeah.
Anyways, look, it just all depends.
If Chase Brown gets through the draft unscathed, is he really going to cost much more than this? I think you can wait. That's the thing. Like, if Judkins and Caleb and Hampton and Genty and all these guys get first or second round draft capital, and we have multiple wide receivers and quarterbacks in round one, I don't think Chase Brown's going to jump to like the 105 evaluation. I think he's still going to be 107 to 109 range. So I think I would wait on it.
Okay, we got Grab Van Nolan. Let's go. I would agree. I would definitely wait on it. It's definitely tough.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree, WG. I agree. That would be awesome. Appreciate you, Tony. Appreciate you.
Thank you so much, man. Thank you for the support. That's really awesome of you. Love.
All right, Old Man Next Door is next up. This may or may not be the last one we do today, but tomorrow's stream will be completely dedicated to team reviews. We'll be doing so many team reviews tomorrow.
We're gonna chug out a bunch tomorrow. So if you have any, if you guys want a team review, get it in, because we're probably gonna do, I don't know, a lot. Too many, some would say.
Yeah, I think we'll do a shit ton tomorrow. Excuse my language. The only reason we can't go further in tonight's stream is because I have to go to an appointment, and I can't be late. So this will be the last one. All right. Old Man Next Door.
Yeah, thank you so much for the support. This is a 2-quarterback, 12-team start 10. So start 10 is middle ground, meaning you can start up to 5 wide receivers or 5 running backs, just depending on how your flex is set up. But your team name is Bijan today, Mahomes tomorrow, and you are ranked 2nd out of 12 according to expert consensus ranking. let's have a look at this context. He says, "Big fan of y'all. And Zach, I grew up in the DMV, and
Hey,
I'm a fellow Commanders fan.
let's
That's just really
go.
unfortunate there for you.
Hey,
I'm really sorry.
I mean,
This
I'm even
roster,
rocking. Look, I mean, even rocking the hat today. Let's go, baby. I mean, it's been a big offseason. We trade for a franchise left tackle. Nobody's trading these franchise left tackles away, and somehow Adam Peters did it. Let's go. We got Deebo Samuel for a 5th-round pick. All we need to do is go out there and draft Travion Henderson or something around, one of these picks. So we got to figure out the running back spot. Brian Robinson's not the answer. Okay, sorry.
This roster is my first ever Dynasty team. We're headed into year 3. I made playoffs both years, and I'm hoping to try and keep my team young, but get as competitive as possible. Appreciate the tips. All right, let's have a look at this team then.
You like a good tip, don't you?
I think we all like a good tip.
All right. Walk us through the team then. Start 10, like we said, middle ground lineup.
Yeah. And at the quarterback position, Patrick Mahomes, CJ Stroud, and Russell Wilson. Look, good quarterback room. Good quarterback room. Especially if Russell finds a team, whether it's back with the Steelers or the Giants, at least you have a QB3. At the running back position, Bijan Robinson, Monty, Brian Robinson, and the list goes on there. Not the strongest RB2. I still believe in Monty, but there's still a lot of changes that could come to you. Specifically for David Montgomery. At the wide receiver position, remember you can start up to 5 wide receivers potentially. Brian Thomas, Nico Collins, Jordan Addison, DK Metcalf, Jerry Jeudy, Jawan Jennings, and the list goes on. So really top heavy. I feel really confident in, honestly, the first 3 in Brian Thomas, Collins, and Addison. But DK, interesting with that new setup. Jerry, who's going to be his quarterback. So a lot of question marks there on that second half of that group.
You'd like to think that you don't sign DK Metcalf for Justin Jefferson money to not target him 10 times a game, but we can't trust Arthur Smith at all. And the quarterback.
It just all depends on the quarterback, yeah. And with Travis Kelce and Mike Gesicki and Ben Simmons there, where you have the 107 and your 26 first. Okay, let's have a look at this team. I don't think it's that bad. It's not terrible.
Yeah, by the way, on the waiver wire, nothing. De'Ami Brown, I'd pick up. I'd definitely drop. Can we do drops first? If you need to drop players, I got a bunch of options for you. Jalen Naylor, Sterling Shepard, Mason Tipton, Casey Washington. If you want to clear more space, Patrick Taylor. You could probably drop Eric All if you wanted to. At minimum, those are players that you could drop to clear space for others, including draft capital incoming. De'Ami Brown is definitely worth picking up after that $10 million deal to the Jags. As far as holds on this team, Jawan Jennings is a strong hold. Would love to see what he can become. I'm going to go ahead and add Mike Gesicki because he's a contender. We might as well see what Mike Gesicki can do on that contract. Trey Benson is a strong hold as well. And is DK a hold or a sell? What is his current price? Can you look at that up on KTC for me?
Yeah, I'll have a look. Personally, I want to get rid of DK, but I'm not sure if he can. Wide receiver 22. That's what I'm saying. Wide receiver 22. He's definitely risen. Before the trade, he was wide receiver 27 on March 5th.
Wow. So he's got a rise so far.
If Aaron Rodgers goes to the Steelers,
right.
That is going to be your perfect opportunity to sell him.
Yeah, you're right. So he was traded. Yeah, went to wide receiver 22. Weird. So what does that kind of put him like? Is it like 107 is too ambitious then? Like, so what, like 109? Wow. I'd have a tough time keeping DK for the 108, 109 type of range. We'll talk about that.
Even in the pivot, we can definitely talk about it. But even in the pivot, if you just look at the guys around that, I would personally rather have Rashee Rice, Rome Odunze, DJ Moore.
Yeah. I agree.
Yeah.
DJ Moore. It's kind of crazy how he's 23rd. Okay, yeah. We'll talk about it. I don't know why in my mind I had DJ Moore and Metcalf in just different conversations. Like not the same tier in Dynasty, but okay. Untouchables: Brian Thomas, Bijan Robinson.
Yep.
Think about your starting lineup right now. It's a start 10. It would be Mahomes, Stroud, Bijan, Monty, Brian, Nico, Kelsey, Addison, Metcalf, Judy. It's a strong team. It's not a Thanos by any means. It's a contender. I'd probably put you like B plus range. B plus,
Yeah, I'm okay with
B
that.
plus seems like a fair grade overall. Draft capital grade is nothing special. I'd say B flat. You got your future picks, which is great. I'm glad you have that, but you don't have like a top 3 pick or anything. And then, I mean, this feels like another contender to me when we're thinking pathways. I don't see a reason for this guy not to go out and try and contend right now. There's definitely moves that we can make. There's pivots we can make, but yeah, would you agree?
Yeah, I completely agree. What are some I need 2 holds. I'm assuming Mike Gesicki and maybe.
No, I said Juwan Jennings and Trey Benson
Okay.
were 2 that came to mind.
Okay, sorry, I didn't hear that.
No,
Juwan
that's okay.
Jennings and Mike Gesicki. Or Trey Benson, sorry. Okay, cool.
Let's go to the chalkboard here. And, people are requesting dark mode. Can you do dark mode on Google Docs? Can you? Yes, you can enable dark mode. It's primarily available on mobile apps. I don't know. I don't know how you would do it. I don't know. Okay. If he is to stick and pick, I mean, he has an opportunity to definitely improve the team. I think running back is like the prime spot here for him. That range of like those quarterbacks plus Burden, Henderson, Judkins, Johnson.
Yeah.
Assuming they get good draft capital, I think those would be ideal in that scenario. And then at the 207, if Elijah Arroyo goes second round, I think he'd be a serious target for me there. I mean, let's just say he walked away with Judkins and Arroyo, assuming Arroyo goes second round. I think that'd be a pretty perfect haul for your team, given its current condition and needs. I definitely think RB3 is a big need for this team. I don't know if I really want to sell the 107. I don't really like the range of running backs there.
That's kind of where I was thinking. Either you go with the 107 and hope one of these running backs fall to you, or you go out and get the DJ Moore. You go out and get the Rishi Rices of the world if you possibly can for that 107.
I think you have to add a significant running back. So if we move the pick, it needs to be running back. For me, in my opinion. And I don't think you can afford... I don't think you get Jonathan Taylor or Achane or Brees, but I don't want to buy like the other names with that pick. So I think you're probably best to hold, actually. What I will say is I think there are plenty of trade-away targets on this team. Like Brian Robinson. DK Metcalf. I would also say, like, Mahomes is... I don't mind tearing down from Mahomes. If you can still do that. In some leagues you can. Some leagues you can't. So, why don't we start with Brian Robinson? Obviously, any early second is an easy yes. But if you can't net that, I'm also fine with a mid-second, like the 204 to the 207 range.
Yeah.
As far as DK Metcalf goes, as far as draft capital, you already have the 107, but he's kind of in that 108 type of range to the 109. I wouldn't even mind going as far as the 110 if we can get like a little 2-for-2 action going there. Let's see who has the 108. Shall we start with there? Well, this guy has a 110. 911.
Did that change for you?
What?
Can you go to document? Did it go to black?
Oh, shoot. Yeah, we can't see anything now.
No, sorry. I was just go to file, page setup, and you can change the color.
File, page setup.
And then you can change the color.
Oh, okay.
That's probably the best thing we can do. Sorry, I was just looking it up as you were doing that.
I mean,
but anyways,
the issue is the white on the outside looks so gross now.
Yeah, it does. I wish we can like turn that off or something.
Yeah, we'll look at our options. If anyone has any ideas, let us know. Okay, so the first team has the 110. They also have the 204. So I think that would be
Yeah.
more than enough if I got the 110 and the 204. You know what I mean? That'd be great. In fact, I'd probably be willing to even part with. Where's our team? Like, I'd be willing to send.
A Brian Robinson movie.
Yeah. What you could do is you could extend this trade out, and if you wanted to include Brian Robinson into it, could you grab the 110? Could you grab Breece Hall in the 204? How about that? That's another great idea, I think. I'm not the biggest fan of Breece Hall after Justin Fields, but I like that price. That puts you in that price range. All right, let's find the next, let's say 109 or something. 108. Okay, the 108 and the 109 is on the same team. What's up, Edgar? We don't have time tonight because I have to go to a doctor's appointment, but tomorrow night we'll be live, and we are dedicating tomorrow night's stream to team reviews. So if you get one in today, you'll definitely be in tomorrow's stream. Sorry about that. But I can promise you tomorrow night, my friend. Okay, so he has the 108 and the 109. He also has Ayuk, and I'm just trying to get creative here. Because I kind of prefer Ayuk over Metcalf. I don't know if that's crazy to say. Wow, based off of KTC, that might be crazy to say. Does that feel wild to you? Like, I have Ayuk ahead of Metcalf in my rankings pretty easily.
I think it just depends on your perspective of Ayuk and what his timeline is going to be. I think he should be ready for the season. He's 27 years old. I think they're both the same age, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
Just who's on the better offense, man, arguably.
I could be really far off on my Metcalf evaluation right now, but okay, anyway, so, well, that tells me, can we do some sort of Ayuk move here, right? Where we get Ayuk and he's got the 109. Can we send him Metcalf in the 207? Like, do you think that's possible?
Well, according to, if I would imagine according to KTC, you might just be able to do DK. Maybe I'm tripping. Hold on, let's see. DK. Ayuk.
No.
What is it? The 109?
Yeah. 207 puts you close. I mean, we can add Brian Robinson to that. And again, this is only if your league uses KTC as a resource. We like to use it more as a weapon, as we've said before. Maybe Brian Robinson gets that deal over the line. I would also be willing to add another player here instead of Brian Robinson if they don't like Brian. Like, I would send Jerry to get this done.
Yeah, I think with the question marks of quarterback, it definitely makes it more intriguing. But I think I might want to keep him because if they get Shador, surely he can distribute the ball a little bit.
Perfect. Taylor says it's a bunch of KTC crackheads. Beautiful. That's awesome. We absolutely love that. I mean, that's an ideal scenario for us here, trying to get a trade cooked up. But yeah, I mean, he has what else he has outside the 109? Let me double check. What was the team that I was looking at here?
Bijan.
Okay, so
right.
Can he send us like? Could we do this? We'll add on to that trade a Stroud May swap. Do you think that's possible?
Stroud, Drake May. I technically have
Stroud, Metcalf, Judy, and the 207 for Ayuk, the 109 in May. That's one of my favorites that we've made today.
Stroud, DK, Jerry, 207. Yeah, I'm okay with that. So you're technically tearing down, gain the 109 at quarterback.
I like that a lot. We don't have to include the quarterbacks. I was just thinking out loud there. But yeah, I like those 2 deals a lot. Big fan of that. Let's look at, and he has a 109 too, the 108 as well. So you're kind of limited a little bit there. But yeah, let's yeah, I think those are all great options for DK, honestly. And like we said, just straight up for any of these picks, we would do as well. Maybe not the 110, but the 108 to the 109. If this guy counters, I would do that as well.
Yeah, specifically with this team, I'll even do like a future first.
Right.
So I don't think this team's. I mean, it just depends on if these guys hit, right?
Yeah.
These running backs at the 104, 106. But...
And you can wait and see if Aaron Rodgers signs, because that might make someone more confident in doing that.
Yeah, I think that's definitely going to boost it, personally.
Let's look at a Mahomes tear down. The guys that come to mind here would be, well, let's look at KTC, because my rankings won't be helpful for trying to tear down from community. Okay, so they have Mahomes 6, so it would be like Knicks, Love,
Kyler
Purdy.
Area, maybe Michael Penix, if you want to go that far down.
Yeah. Knicks, Love, Purdy, Penix, Goff.
Please, God, no. Scribble.
Oops.
I mean, actually, yes, I want Russell over Aaron, sorry. But
Baker.
I'm not salivating.
Okay, so let's think of these ideas. I'm shocked that you can tear down to Knicks. I don't think you can get much in a tear down, if we're honest. But if you can get something, that's fine, because I kind of already have Knicks over Mahomes. Don't tell anyone. Okay. So can we get Knicks, like a Knicks Rice, and we send Mahomes... What about like Mahomes Judy or something?
Yeah, that can be good. Or Knicks Rice.
Yeah. If not Judy, would you be comfortable doing Metcalf? You might need a little more if you made it Metcalf.
I would imagine you can technically get more. But am I tripping there?
Do you mean the Judy Rice deal?
Yeah.
Okay, well then let's leave it there. I think that's a...
I could be wrong. But I'm just saying, if we're really tearing down big and Patrick Mahomes a top 6 quarterback, surely...
But I don't think he has the same aura he used to, though. You know?
Yeah, I think it depends on how they value Richie Rich. That's all.
Yeah. Let's look at Jordan Love here. Have to be AJ Brown, right? AJ Brown, yeah. And then we send Mahomes. I mean, would you do Mahomes and Metcalf? Maybe we could ask for something else.
I'll do Mahomes and DK and try. Yes, for Jordan Love and Aaron and
yeah,
AJ.
I like that. Look, if you can get more, if you can net, multiple seconds. You can add that 209 on there or something, great. But you'll probably know your league a little bit better. All right, let's look at Purdy.
Brock Purdy, where's he at? It's all Brock's party.
Okay, so Purdy.
Gosh, this guy has so many quarterbacks.
Yeah.
I mean, the only one that I think is probably doable, you probably have to give more, is Purdy London.
Yeah.
I'm not sure.
Maybe Mahomes Metcalf straight up for Purdy London.
Yeah, maybe.
Something like that.
Actually, might be a fair trade. Actually, I think I'm okay with that.
Let's look at... I want to maybe stay a little, competitive. I think Penix will be competitive, but I want to kind of stay... I think Goff and Mayfield's where you can really...
Steelers have made an offer for Aaron Rodgers. Delayed, not about money. Well, yeah, we already know that.
Let's see who has Goff here. Goff is super cheap. The cheapest buy right now in the offseason. It used to be Dak Prescott. Now it's Jared Goff. Bucky Irving. Oh, you know what I'm about to do. I mean, could you do that? Could you do Goff and Bucky for Mahomes straight up? I don't know. In some leagues you could. You couldn't do it if I owned Bucky. But what if we also sent Brian Robinson or something? You know?
Yeah.
Ask for a future third or something on top. The Bucky owner has a tight grip. No harm in sending it. And I don't blame them for having a tight grip. They should. What else do they have, though? They had... where was the Purdy owner? Oh, it's Olave is the floor. Goff. You can't go to a Monra here. Yeah, I don't think there's another option there. And then Baker Mayfield is the last one.
Let's see where Baker's at. Baker. Okay, Jalen Daniels' team. This one might be tough, but I don't think you can do something with this team. There's a lot of older people.
Yeah, the only thing is Bowers. But I'm struggling to see how we'd get there. I think we'd have to do like Bowers, and I think you'd have to send Metcalf probably.
Yeah, something along those lines.
Oh, what am I doing here? Sorry, Mahomes and Metcalf. Yeah. So yeah, that's what I would do with this team. Let us know if you have any final questions, by the way, Taylor. I want to make sure you feel good about this trade. I think my priority is the Ayuk trade with DK. I would be obsessed all over that. I really love the Knicks Rice tear down. Any ones you want to highlight?
Yeah, I agree. Excuse me. Let's just give him some variety. The Brian Robinson for any early second, and I personally like the AJ Brown Jordan Love one.
Yeah, that's a great one too. Yeah, let's
one of those.
Let's do that as well. Yeah, but I like the team, man. Like we said, definitely a contender. I think you can hold off on tight end with like the Kelsey-Gesicki combination. I don't think you need to be desperate about it. But like we said in the second round, if Arroyo gets good capital, you can target him. Like keeping that pick and getting young at that running back position and then making some of these moves. I mean, let's say you do the Knicks Rice and, then you draft Henderson. I really like where the squad would end up being.
Yeah, I completely agree. But yes, let us know if you have any other questions. I'll give you the spiel. You'll be receiving your customized playbook within 72 hours on the Flock Fantasy website. Customized to everything that we drew up here for you today. But we really appreciate you and your support there, Taylor. He says, solid thoughts and definitely loving that DK trade. So if I can find any buyer or B Robin early stick, I'm definitely making a move. Yeah, man. Good luck.
Yeah. That's a smart move.
And obviously, if people are really in love with Keep Trade Cut, clearly you have signed up on the Flock Fantasy website. You have the ability to utilize Zach's rankings at any point in time, see what his evaluations are versus Keep Trade Cut.
Yeah.
Or you
can always come back and ask a trade question on the site.
Exactly,
or
ask a trade question. So. Exactly. So Yeah, let us know. Appreciate
you big time. Thanks everybody who joined us. I'm gonna wait and make sure Taylor feels good. Make sure he has no last minute questions. But if you guys are watching this, check out the pinned comment. You can become an annual Mother Flocker member with the promo code LAND and get a voucher for an offline playbook. If you want to make it live, it's only $7 more for members. You can also purchase one a la carte. flockfantasy.com/land. We'll be live tomorrow doing team reviews all day. I got to go to an appointment. And I agree. All hail Adam Peters. And Adam Peters we trust, okay? I mean, at this point, I don't have a kid. But if I had a kid, I would trust Adam Peters to raise him. That's how much I believe in this guy. So, but we appreciate you, Taylor. Appreciate everybody else for being here. I have to go to this appointment because my wife is yelling at me, and she's like, "You're gonna be late."
You're gonna be late.
But love you guys. We'll see you soon. Later.